Hey there, my name is Wendy and I'm pleased you're here. Today we are talking about paper clutter. I can assure you that if I can be redeemed from my cluttered ways, I know that you can too. So join with me as I show you how to declutter the paper within your home today. This has been a process for me over a number of years. I was first introduced to it by KonMari, which I'm pretty sure you would have heard of. If you haven't, I think you've been living under a rock. But if you have, I'm here to show you the process to make things super simple within your home. I've created systems and ways of processing the paper that comes into the home so that it doesn't overwhelm me anymore. So if you haven't decluttered and you've got a ton of stuff that you're wanting to sort through, this might be a big day for you. Maybe it's going to be 2 days. All I can say is take a breath, do one thing at a time, and take breaks. Grab a cup of tea when you need to, refresh yourself, and then get back into it. Oh my goodness, it is like blowing a gale outside. If you hear any banging and crashing, nothing's happening. It's just the wind. So first and foremost, what I need you to do is to recognize your enemy, which is know exactly where your hotspots are. Which rooms do you have piles of paper, books, pamphlets, things that have collected, and how many spots in those places. You've got a kitchen, but there might be a drawer, a cupboard, and a shelf. You might have a bedroom, and it might be beside your bed and down beside your husband's bed. Maybe in the kids' bedroom, there's a pile in the corner of their room. All over the home, I want you to go into every room and see where it is that you have got paper collected. Because in this process today, what you're going to do is sort through each pile one after the other. You're not going to move on to any other decluttering in your home until paper has been dealt with completely. Now this is simply because we start to gain strength in our decision making. As you are making your decisions about what to do with all of this paper, you move on to the next pile with more gusto because you have decided and you know exactly what you want to keep, you know what you want to throw away, and then you move on to the next one and it starts to gain momentum. And if you just got momentum on one pile and then walked off and you didn't deal with the rest in the other parts of the home, you would come back and go, oh, what do I have to do again? And it starts from scratch. It's like getting a car started again. So what you do is you just start and you will get faster and you'll get more confident as you go. So first of all, I want you to find out where it is, isolate the hotspots, and make mental note of where you're going to move throughout the house as we go. So now that you've recognized those, I want you to grab a rubbish bin and a space where you can start collecting a pile of paper. First, you're going to know exactly what's rubbish. You're going to pick it up and you're thinking, what on earth have I kept this for? It'll be out of date, it'll be irrelevant, it'll be something that wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. Someone brought it in, you don't even know who it belongs to. Get it in the rubbish. This is what you're first and foremost going to be doing as you go through your piles. But wait, there is a process to this. I don't want you to be double handling things. You might have 5 different rooms that you're going to sort today. So what I want you to do with every single piece of paper is to decide if it's rubbish. If it is, bin it straight away. So make sure you've got that wonderful big bin next to you. And if it's not, you're going to put it into a category for me. And there are 5 different categories that you will have with the piece of paper that's remaining in your hand that you need to put it into. And you're going to find a place to put these piles, because in my next video I'm going to show you what to do with them. I really don't want to overwhelm you too much at this stage, but first and foremost we're going to work out the rubbish, and then we're going to work out the different categories and where you might put it later. So here's where I tell you the different categories that you are going to find. First, there's rubbish. The next one is keepsakes. So these are things that are treasures, either to you or to someone else in your home. Photos that are one-offs, things that you've been given, maybe school photos that have come in. They're letters, notes that you've received from people, maybe from loved ones, cards from grandmothers that have written, maybe art that your children have made. You're going to find a place to put these things because you don't want to throw them out, but you're not 100% sure what to do with them yet. You're going to put them in a pile. You don't have to chuck all the children's art out. I'm not going to ask you to do that. But I do want to show you the process of how you can deal with them every time they come into the home so that you're not having to be in this position again. So what you do is create a pile of keepsakes, and that can be your first category. So the third category is legal documents. If it's not rubbish and it's not a treasure, maybe it goes in the category of, okay, this is an insurance policy, I'm not sure if I need to keep it, but I need to keep it for now. Maybe it's a local council request, maybe it's a contract from something. Put it in a space where you can sort it out later. There are very few things that we need to hold on to long term legally. but if you think it might be, put it in this third category. The next one is information. So these are brochures, pamphlets, articles that you've captured and gathered, and they're things that are really kind of interesting to you. You want to hold on to that information. You've brought it into the home for a reason, or someone's gathered it. These aren't to be thrown out because you might not necessarily want to throw them out. You might be using them. So make a pile for these in the fourth space to keep them separate, and I'll show you what you can do with them. The next category is current events. These things are happening now. Birthday invitations, school notices, newsletters, bills, receipts, things that you're wanting to hold on to for information that you need to remember, otherwise you're not going to get to the places that you need to be, and you're not going to have the things that you need to take. So get these, put them in a safe space. I'll show you what to do next. And the last one is work-related documents or current projects. For example, my husband is a beekeeper and he will often get manuals that come in. Other work-related things might be current projects that your children are working on. Maybe your child's got an exam and there's just maths papers everywhere. Maybe they've got an art project that they're doing. They're a project that's current and you're not quite sure what to do with it all. So I want you to make a space for work projects so that we can work out what you're going to do with them next. So if you haven't decluttered before, this could be a big task for you. Maybe it's not, maybe you've been on top of things and you just needed a refresh. If you haven't been looking at your paper for a long time, this is exactly where you should start. So I'm going to show you now a quick video on how I decluttered some of the hotspots that gather in my home from time to time. About once a month I have to assess them and just make sure that I'm not gathering stuff that doesn't need to be there. So I wanted to show you how I do it in the hope that it might inspire you, just show you the process so that you're not too overwhelmed and you can just see exactly how to choose and where you might put things. I've got 3 hotspots. I have a file of legal documents that I keep all the time, and I went through this again so that I can keep up to speed with exactly where you guys are at, and I can have empathy for what it's like to have to sort through things that you haven't looked at in a while. This legal document file is kept in a safe space for in an emergency, and it hasn't been looked at in a number of years. So I did take a look at that and I decluttered it with my husband because it's a lot of information in there that's not all mine. The other spot is in the kitchen and in the office, and I've showed you exactly how I do the decluttering there, just in the hope that it might inspire you and show you it can be simple, it doesn't have to be hard, and how quickly you can start making some of the decisions as you learn how to exercise your muscle of decluttering. So I hope this video has helped you. If you want to see the next one on what to do with those piles of legal documents and keepsakes and memorabilia, then hit the subscribe and the like button so you can get notified of when the next one comes live. It will be in the next few days because I want to be able to show you quickly what you need to do. But until next time, bye for now.
So basically I go through everything one by one and I decide if it's going to go to rubbish or if I'm going to keep it and action it now. I talk to anyone around me if it belongs to them and what do they want it, or if it's rubbish. In this particular box I found even cards that my mum had sent the kids. I found work things that my son had just been working on with an exam. This is an old work contract and I flicked through it and I'm pretty sure I had an electronic copy and none of it seemed relevant anymore, so I just biffed it. There is an insurance policy there that I wanted to look at that I'm just going to keep to process. As you can see, you just grab everything one by one and just choose which pile you're going to put it in. Oh, I found a paper clip. I don't know why I showed you those. I found another copy of my life insurance, so I'm going to have to choose which one is most relevant and which one I'm going to bin. So here I am, these are little things that were in the bottom of that box and I'm just choosing which is relevant and which needs to be kept. So it is important that you handle each thing. It is important that you don't just think, oh, I can't be bothered. Just hold it, have a look through, make sure that it isn't relevant, otherwise you're going to throw out something important. So here we go, lots of rubbish. Happy to be getting rid of it. Now I'm in my office and I don't actually have a lot of in here that belongs to the family, so this is all my stuff that I use all the time, but there is often things that I find that I don't need, so I'm just making sure that I've not kept things unnecessarily. I did notice as I was going through that I have a number of notebooks. Anyone else have notebooks that they just use all the time? I'm chatting with you here, sorry. I've just sped it up because it's far too boring to leave going slow. And I love those grid books, I was telling you about them. And here we go. I found another notebook and I got on a little bit of a sidetrack.
And this is a prime example of what not to do. Don't get sidetracked.
And on with the show. So here we go. I had 2 boxes, and a lot of the stuff I really do use all the time. It was nice just refreshing myself with what's available to me, but I definitely am not throwing any of it away. I'm keeping it. A lot of it is just really valuable stuff, like knowledge. That was an iPad protector that we never use, so I am going to get rid of that. And clear files. I keep them, thinking I might use them. Nope. And in this book, there was just one bunch of papers that I needed to keep, and the rest of it was completely useless, so I'm going to either give it to my daughter for scribble paper or I'll use it. And this was where I got a little bit sidetracked. This was my doodling stuff. I love to bullet journal, and I found a whole lot of stuff in here, so I was just working it. Did I really need to keep it? I kept one thing, there you go, and the rest of it just can go. It doesn't need to be kept. Anyone else like quotes? I don't know why I'm showing you that constantly. I actually did find quite a lot of stuff, so I've got a few empty folders, and as you can see I have got both of those file boxes ended up only half full. Again, it is important to make sure that you've looked at everything, because otherwise it just gets gummed up in there and it gets too overwhelming if you don't look at it. Next we've got this legal folder, and my husband was sitting right next to me and I just said, do we need this, do we need this? And I explained it to him. They were trust documents and superannuation files, and a lot of it, honestly, there was about 70% of it needed to go. I found another insurance policy that I was going to assess. So it's got our birth certificates, marriage certificates and passports. So those are the things that I would consider to be pretty important, needing to be kept safe. And I did find 2 expired passports that I'm going to make sure that they are disabled, like not able to be used, but I'm going to leave them as a keepsake for the children that used to own them. And I've put the other ones away for safekeeping. I'm going to put everything back in the file folder for if I ever need it. That's where we keep our will, and we'll keep these documents that we need to keep for a number of years regarding our trust. So, all done. So make sure you subscribe or hit the notifications for the next video to find out what to do with your decluttering. Bye for now.